3
somehow.
times is going to be fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
I was going to quit the show. I mean, I like the show a lot, but 3 of them was going to be a little much.
Well, they say you have to hear something 7 times before
it really sticks.
Well, this is
true.
technically episode 131. So we've been doing this quite a while, and we'd like to welcome Matthew from Tanganyika Wildlife Park.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
man.
Thanks for inviting us.
This is a special episode for us. This isn't a normal deal. We get to go on location, which we always love to do. We got giraffes in the background. This is
So you're not normally
pretty sweet.
filming out on the draft decks, like?
Well,
that's
mean,
not your normal location.
Not
usually.
this one.
Not
This one. We frequent some giraffe decks.
Yeah.
But this one is our now our new favorite.
Yeah, this is the nicest giraffe deck that we've probably ever podcasted.
Yeah,
from.
That's good to hear. We have high standards.
Yeah, that other weird guy that invites us to his giraffe deck it's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
This is way more professional. So here we are, Tanganyika Wildlife Park.
Couldn't have picked a better day for it, man.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I hope everybody's enjoying their Friday. I hope everybody gets a chance to tune into this and check it out when we get here. So we met the Tank. Oh, we gotta give a shout out to Logo Depot. Thank you for reminding me.
That's right.
They sponsored us to come out here today. Kicked us a little cash. Kicked us a little to help us get out here on a Friday afternoon.
It's awesome. They make all kinds of custom apparel. They'll help you with logo design, any kind of that stuff. They're really good at it.
T-shirts from everything, right? Everything under the sun. So that's pretty awesome.
That's right.
So give us a little introduction about yourself. Tell us what you do at the park. How you got into this and all that stuff a little bit.
So I mean, I'm the director at the park. That's my official title, I guess, external title. My internal role is visionary. So we operate on a system called EOS, and that's kind of a term from that it's a book called Traction based on Gino Wickman. Anyway, so I kind of help plan the future of the park and from an industry standpoint, kind of helping with the zoo industry, trying to help shape some of that and make sure that we get to continue to do this for decades on decades. So there's lots of pressures to end a lot of what we're trying to do, and so just trying to focus on that and make sure that we can continue to provide these amazing wow moments for years to come.
Well, you guys have been here a long time, about 16 years. Is that what I'm hearing? Like you guys? Have been
so
here
we've been
16?
open as a zoo for 16 years. We actually, so my family, we actually moved. We're from Wichita originally, but moved back here from California in 1984, 1985, and that's when we built our first barn out here, 1985. So actually, next year will be about 40 years that we've actually been out here.
So you guys have been pretty intricate in the whole development of this park here.
Yeah, I mean, we, this is my parents' dream was to build a world-class breeding facility for rare and endangered species.
Yeah.
And so that was definitely their focus. That's what we've been doing for most of our time here. And we've been incredibly successful at it. And so, but then we decided to open to the public as I say a zoo, we're not really a zoo, right? But have people come out and we've really started to focus more on connecting people to the natural world. Like that's, for me, from a generation standpoint, passing down from my parents to me, like that's what I get excited about. That's what gets me out of bed is just seeing how impactful these animals are on people's lives. And little interactions. We've been sitting on the draft deck here, and you watch these interactions, and the attendant said the rules 1,000 times, right? Like
Right.
But you never know like what kind of experience that is providing for that person. I mean, story after story, I could tell you people were going to commit suicide and didn't because of an interaction they had on the Lemur Island, or
Right.
like just all kinds of amazing things. And it's deep, powerful stuff, and so that's what I love, and that's what we really focus on now.
Well, I think conservation is a great idea, but when you can personalize it to an experience like that, and you guys are, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you guys were like the most interactive zoo experience in the state, in the region,
in the Midwest.
In the Midwest,
yeah,
that's what
so
I was thinking.
we won that a couple of years ago, and then just here recently, U.S. State Today, we were voted second best interactive wildlife facility in the United States.
Explain to people what that exactly means.
Yeah, so when you come out to the park, it's a lot. We do a lot of interactive exhibits, so you can feed the giraffes, you can feed the rhinos, the hippos, lorikeets, lemurs. Maybe wrestle a bear. We haven't added that one yet, but we're we're working on how we could do it safely.
Yeah.
If that's a thing.
I don't think there is. No way.
No.
Well, get that
waiver
bear in
signs.
training.
Maybe just we sign waivers.
Yeah. So those always hold up. So but we also do a lot of behind the scenes and meet and greets. Not quite like wrestling the bears, but you can swim with penguins. You can go in and you can feed capybaras. That's a new one for us. You can pet a sloth. You can just do a lot of different things like that. And so really get you close and interact with the animals basically.
And are all those things that you offer just when you show up, or are there different that you have to schedule? What's the difference?
Yeah, good question. So what we call encounters or interactive stations, that's the feeding stations around the park. Those are included in your admission.
Okay.
And then the behind the scenes or the meet and greets, what we call experiences, those are a little more intimate. Usually they're no more than 12 people. They're a little bit longer time frame. You get to interact with the animal a little bit more. And so those are an add-on to your experience.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of set that up, you can bring a group of people and kind of do something kind of cool. And
yeah, I mean, you can have one person or you can have multiple, just however you want to do it. But when you book your tickets, there's options online where you can kind of pick and choose what's your favorite. And we get people from all over the country. Really, we've getting people from around the world, not like tons international, but some. Coming to do some of these experiences, especially like swimming with the penguins. It's the only place I know of in the United States where you can do it. So.
Really? That's awesome.
So what's that like? So someone books that. What is it? What are they getting into?
Well, they're going to get into a pool.
And you get into the pool and
the penguins are going to be.
I
there
mean,
too.
what do they do? You go into the water with them, or are they just jumping all over you? What's happening?
Yeah. So we'll have you, like, usually you wear a wetsuit. You don't have to, but we recommend it.
I would.
And then
probably got one for my.
If they get pinchy, I want the wetsuit.
And they do because they don't have hands, right? So they feel with their mouth. So
yeah, they got some beaks on them.
Yeah. So they.
We met one at Dam Jam this year.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So so you'll get in the water with them. Usually you're waist to maybe chest deep.
No, you're sure not submerged with these things, at least swimming
not
around.
fully, no.
Okay,
but yeah, then they'll come up and we'll have some little toys you can play with them in the water. You can put your hand underneath and they'll kind of rest on it, so you're not really holding them, but they're just kind of floating there. You can pet their back and they'll swim around you and stuff, and it's a pretty cool experience.
Definitely.
Yeah, cool.
I was definitely surprised at what a penguin felt like when we got to meet
Feels like
one.
a snake almost.
Yeah, they're
It's
definitely
really
different than what you would expect. I mean, they're really sleek and tough. They're like, they're like, they ain't much give on them, for sure. Because I don't know what the name of that. I can't remember the name of the penguin that we met at Dam Jam, but he was pretty cool.
It's probably Paco. Maybe no.
I don't know. I can't remember. That sounds right. I mean, I would have agreed to anything.
There's we have about 60 penguins, but there's like a dozen that we can work with. Like only maybe a handful or so actually swim, but then there's a dozen that we can work with. Different experiences on site, off site, and the rest are all just jerks. Like I
think that's
they'll
a
just
bird thing, man.
bite the crud out of you.
I don't know.
They are. Most birds are bitey. I mean, I ain't gonna deal with most of them. Are pretty crabby.
I had chickens for a long time, and it was like that. Like certain chickens were super.
Chickens
cool,
are little dinosaurs.
And then there was like the majority of the chickens were just brain dead.
Yeah,
just
not a lot going on there.
So did you? So I heard you say that you originally from Wichita, but you guys were moved to California for a while. Did you guys move to California because of animal reasons to learn? Or
so at the time, my dad was he was doing a lot of importing of birds from around the world. So at that time, my parents bought the USDA quarantine facility, which was based in LA. There's a West Coast one, and that was based in LA. So they bought that, and we moved out there. And so at this point, he was going around the world. He'd be gone 300 days of the year importing birds.
Wow.
My mom was managing the quarantine facility that had as many as 100,000 birds in it at times.
Oh, wow.
And managing a wholesale bird store and an incredibly cute 2-year-old little boy. And so, but we lived in Escondido, so it was a 100-mile drive to work every day. And in LA traffic, if you didn't leave at like 2 a.m, it was a 5-hour commute instead of a 2-hour commute. So, my mom was is a superhero during that time. So. But then my dad had met a gentleman that had been buying birds, and he shared his dream of building this world-class breeding facility for birds in the United States, so he didn't have to continue to import them. He could just breed them here. And the guy's like, I'll fund it. You put it together. He spent a year putting together this incredible collection of birds. And as soon as he got it done, the guy's like, all right, I'm taking it. And took the facility, sued them, accused them of all kinds of stuff. They lost the quarantine facility. They lost their bird store. They lost everything. Wow. Filed bankruptcy. My mom moved back with 2 kids now, back to Wichita. My dad came a year later in a U-Haul because he didn't have a car anymore. And the only thing he had to move from their apartment were some, like, I said trees. There were some kind of big bushes. I don't know. He corrected me the other day. But
Shrubbery.
he had some plants that he moved back from California, and that was all that they had left. So, yeah, my parents' grandparents gifted us 5 acres of land out here in Goddard.
Yeah.
And that's how they, borrowed money to build their first barn, and that's what established the home of Tanganyika Wildlife Park.
You say 5 acres they gifted you? What are we at acreage right now?
We're sitting about 100 now.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Look at you go.
Yeah, so we've slowly expanded, and over time, and then my grandparents have since passed, so my mom inherited some of their land as well. And so yeah, we're sitting at about 100 acres. The park right now sits on about 25. That's what people, when they come out to the park, that's what they experience.
There's a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah. So and there's a lot of room to expand. So
awesome.
So we're excited for that.
I told her she'd be able to make it back out here to get on the show for a sec.
But you guys do a lot of like conservation and your breeding program, like you said, a breeding program for endangered animals. That's what I see out here is stuff that I really never see at other places like FOSA.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so we breed, we have a unique collection of animals, but we also breed most of what we have, and that's still, it's not, I wouldn't say it's our core focus anymore, but it's still an important part of who we are and our legacy. And so, right now I think we have 2 or 3 baby giraffe. We'll have some baby cats probably start coming in the spring again. That's when we have our baby boom every year. Right. But yeah, we actively breed. I think we've bred like 7. We've had 70 baby giraffe born here.
Wow.
So what do you guys do with all these giraffes?
Well, they go to other zoos or other facilities, and for breeding and whatever.
Do you guys ever have anything that's re-released into the wild, or is that?
No, that's incredibly rare.
Yeah, it's not easy to do either.
Correct.
From what I understand,
there's very few facilities that have ever successfully reintroduced.
Yeah, I heard it's the money to even try to do it is ridiculous.
Well, and it can take generations, right? Because in managed care, they learn, and everything's kind of provided for them, and you almost have to wean them off humans, so it can take generations. And almost all situations too, even when they were released in the quote unquote wild, they were still released into like a state park, or it may have been hundreds of thousands of acres, like
but
this
still,
giant wildlife refuge, but it's still kind of controlled or overseen, if you will. Like, there's minimal human interference, but there's still some oversight, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, like a reserve for
sure. There's very few
sense.
wild spaces left in the world. You get into the Congo and the Amazon, there's some stuff, but beyond that, there's not much.
No, there's not. I mean, for the most part, we've been everywhere except for a few places.
We're a pretty invasive species.
Except for the places that don't know want to be. There's a few places in the Sahara Desert too that don't nobody go, but still.
Yeah.
But
and that's, so like the scimitar horned oryx, there's thousands of them on ranches in Texas, right? They've gone extinct in the wild twice.
What are they? Say that again.
Scimitar horned oryx.
Scimitar. What the hell's that thing look like?
So they're mostly white. They've got slight brown around their necks, and then they have these long curved horns, like a scimitar sword.
Okay, cool.
They're beautiful, antelope, and they've gone extinct twice in the wild, and so they're on their 3rd version of trying to reintroduce them back, and I think they're actually starting to take this time and maybe doing better. But again, if it wasn't for ranches in Texas, which is kind of a crazy thing, right? They'd be completely extinct.
Really? That's so they went extinct and someone's like, "Well, I got one of those still."
Yeah. Like we got a few of those.
Yeah, we got a few of those running around our park out here.
I bet we could make more.
Yeah.
So what do you guys got going on the other 70 acres of this place? I mean, you guys got is it open for the animals some places, or what do you, I mean?
Not, so there are some breeding areas. So our clouded leopard breeding area is on part of it. Our cheetah breeding area is on part of it. But beyond that, I've got plans, big dreams for a lot of it.
Right.
But
Nice.
we built a new safari barn that's going to be a core building for our safari park when it gets built. We just kind of are launching a capital campaign here to expand onto 50 acres of it for a new safari park. And so
like a drive-through experience.
Yeah, except we'll kind of take you through. I'm gonna make it to where you could drive on your own if when another COVID thing hits. But
yeah, but it's so much liability with their own vehicles.
Yeah. So and I like, again, what we do. We like to provide instruction and guide people. So, most zoos you go, it's kind of a free-for-all, right? You walk around, maybe you read some signs, you learn some things.
Right.
At the park, because we have so many interactive opportunities, we have people everywhere, and it really helps us engage and immerse people with the animals and really tell you about the animals and tell their story. And And so I kind of want the safari park to follow that same premise, in that, there will be a trackless train that will take you through, or you can go on like a safari truck, almost like you would in Disney, if you've been to the Animal Kingdom there in Disney.
You're just on that like a little rail through the whole thing. Yeah.
So safari truck, and we'll take you through. So some different things like that we want to do with that, and then some new exhibits, new lion enclosure, because we've got some awesome lions that just aren't on exhibit. They're behind the scenes.
Oh wow.
We actually have a decent amount of species that are, or animals at least, that are behind the scenes that people don't get to see unless they do a behind the scenes tour of some sort. We just need to build more facilities for them.
What you got going?
Don't worry about it.
So on a day-to-day basis, what do you got going? Do you interact with almost all the animals here, and I want to know what's the most difficult animal to interact with?
I mean, by far the most difficult animal we have is people. Always, 100%. And
You're not wrong.
Make no mistake, people are animals, right? Like the stuff that I've seen in the last 16 years since we've opened. Like
I can't even imagine.
You're like, a human did that,
Right.
So, but yeah, people are always the most difficult as a whole. And for what I get to do now, I mean, I'm mostly in meetings and spreadsheets and that kind of stuff. That's mostly what I get to do. I worked in the barns when I was younger and did all that. And when we first opened the park, it was just me doing the people side of the park. So I've worked in pretty much every aspect of the park itself. But the team has been able to grow more, and so now I can focus on moving us forward and moving the industry forward, and not have to worry so much about taking your money at the cash register or picking up poop.
Yeah, way cool. So speaking of moving forward, the model's kind of changed, is what I'm understanding. Like you guys are moving more into those interactive kind of model, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, so we're really doubling down on what makes us unique and special. I mean, we had he was a director for one of the largest zoological facilities in the United States, and kind of a global leader, and does a lot of business around the globe. And he came and visited when we were talking about this destination model. He's like, I can't think of one other facility like you in the entire world. And I was pretty blown away by that, right? I knew in the U.S. we were very unique, but outside the U.S. I thought, well, surely there's some other facilities similar to us. And he's like, what you guys are doing here, I don't know of anybody in the world that is doing that. And so,
wow,
I thought that was pretty awesome. And so we're really going to double down on that. And next year will be all inclusive. So all the feeding stations that we mentioned earlier, those will all be free as much as you want to do them. So feed the giraffes as much as you want, feed the lemurs as much as you want. And then unlimited.
That's starting next year?
It's starting next year.
So
2025.
What is it? What is it? So what would they expect if they came in today? What is it?
So we have two basic admission options. There's our normal admission, which includes 5 feedings.
Okay.
So you can kind of, out of the 9 stations, you can kind of pick which 5 you want to do. And then we do have an unlimited option as well.
Okay, cool.
So you can do unlimited feedings. But next year's will also include unlimited food. So entree, we'll have breakfast. We'll serve breakfast in the morning. You can have breakfast. We'll have lunch in the afternoon, snacks all day long.
Oh, you guys are feeding the patrons of the park.
Feeding the humans.
Feeding the humans, huh?
That's right.
Oh.
So unlimited.
You think it's bad now?
Yeah.
Don't feed the humans.
Unlimited food for the humans. Unlimited, just like soft drinks. They'll get a limited amount of alcohol because the state of Kansas does not allow you to do unlimited amounts of alcohol. Yeah. So
you guys serve booze at this place?
We do. We have a bar.
Nice.
The Thirsty Sloth.
Nice.
So it's typically open in the summer when the splash park's open. But yeah, so we'll have limited alcohol. That'll be domestic beer and box wine, and then there will be a premium beverage add-on that will get you like smoothies, iced coffees,
nice.
Import beer or draft beer, as well as like frozen margaritas, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, it'll be kind of this come and spend the day with your family, just a day of carefree timelessness, connecting to your family, to the natural world, and really immersing yourself.
So we can come show up in the morning, have some breakfast.
Yep.
Walk around, have some interactions, have some lunch, have a few drinks afterwards, and hang out.
That's right.
And so explain the splash pad that you said. What is that? What's going on there?
Yeah, so we opened a splash pad a couple of years ago, and it's I call it a splash park. It's not a water park. It's definitely it's not that big, but it's also not your average splash pad. I mean, it's got 2 tipping buckets, like 3 slides, all kinds of fountains and stuff. So it's It's
people was actually, we were sweating their ass off out here. We had to get something to get them cooled
yeah,
off.
that's exactly right.
Well,
and
and the kids are just going to.
I mean, in Kansas, man,
And that's
some of them Kansas July and August,
Yeah,
man, you're out here sweating it out.
well, shoot, it was like 90 degrees like 3 weeks ago.
I was,
like,
right?
it's still
I mean,
in
even
October.
today, I think there's one day supposed to get in the 90s even this week.
It's crazy.
So,
So yeah, we and it's kind of perfect. There's the splash park and the playground. Right in between both is the bar. So adults can just sit, relax, have a drink, let the kids play, and just kind of makes a nice afternoon. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully people will also add on some of the experiences that we've talked about. Maybe you'll do that this time you come. You'll do the behind the scenes penguin or the behind the scenes sloth, or you'll do the capybara experience, swim with penguins, those kinds of things.
So you can kind of itemize it out. You can pick which one you want to do each time.
Yeah,
kind of
so
thing.
and there's we offer so many different experiences that we actually don't even have them all on the menu. We
wow.
kind of bring stuff back. Like this quarter, we'll have something unique like a cheetah experience or something. But then it kind of goes off the menu, and you have to wait till this time next year to do it again. And so we do so many, like almost every species here. We have something interactive with them in some way, shape, or form.
And the public really gets into that. I mean, they really do like those up close and personal.
Well, it just makes it so unique. It makes it different. You can go to the zoo and you can see the animals, but to really come in and feed a giraffe is a little different thing.
Well, even in swim with a penguin or hang out
Yeah.
with a cheetah. I mean,
Yeah.
hanging out with a cheetah is crazy. That scares me. I just don't want to be around monkeys or big cats. Monkeys and big cats scare me. After Tiger King and Chimp Crazy, I ain't trying to get around on all them bad boys.
Yeah, we don't have any big. Well, mandrills are probably the biggest thing that we have that are closest to chimps, but and we have. I think we've done an interaction with them, through the fence or whatever. But yeah,
Monkeys are dangerous, man.
they can be for sure.
They're more dangerous than a lot of stuff, man. Monkeys,
Yeah.
monkeys are kind of scary. Like a
Well,
lot
the
of-
great apes. I mean, they're so
Yeah.
strong and they're just ruthless, right? Like
Yeah.
especially chimps especially. So
yeah, that's not something I'm trying to be in a room with. So how many different animals do we have? Species do you have here?
so
if you even want to include the ones that are not even in the park too, as well.
yeah,
A whole
total.
lot.
We sit around about 100 species. That's kind of where we float. Just depending because the mix does change from year to year, and we bounce around. I would say 450 to 550 animals. So it's a decent sized collection. I mean,
nice.
I think we're the third largest zoo collection wise in the state.
wow.
Sedgwick County Zoo, and then Rolling Hills up in Salina, and then we would be third.
So how do you go about deciding what animals we want to have on display, what animals we're breeding
Yeah.
to help with that? How do animals come your way?
Probably
how
a
does
lot up to the animal, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what kicks your way is how does that process
So
work?
it's a little bit of what's available, but that being said, we've really tried to focus in the last several years, especially on what are things that we can have an impact on in terms of can we do interactions with that animal and create those wow moments. So, we're completely driven by what we call wow moments, and most of those are defined as animal interactions.
Yeah.
But it's that, that when you feed a giraffe and you see that tongue comes out and it wraps around that lettuce and you're just like, whoa, that's what we're going for. And so, last year alone we did 486,000 wow moments, which is pretty insane compared to what most of the industry's doing. And so yeah, that's kind of the filter through which we would look at animals. I mean, can we create wow moments with that animal? Can we? And then you start to. Can we also? Is there a breeding? Can we add to the population in the United States through a successful breeding program? That definitely factors in. And so those are kind of some of the things that we consider when we look at what animals to get.
Cool. Is that what made you want to bring in what's the thing, the capybara?
Capybara.
Yeah, those things are cool, man.
Yeah, I mean,
so
they're
explain
super
that
cute.
experience a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, right now, you get to go in. I think I honestly haven't even done it yet. It's like fresh. We introduced it. I was gone, so I'm pretty sure you get to go in with them. I think you get to touch and scratch them
Because they're just they're supposed to be pretty tame, right? Pretty cool dudes.
Yeah, I mean, they're young, so we've been working with them. They can be a little skittish, but they've been really good so far. So.
It's like a giant squirrel almost.
Well, it's a rodent, so
Yeah,
it's
I mean, there's
bottom of the food chain kind of vibe. Isn't it?
Yeah. You're all gonna eat them.
Yeah.
they're pretty cool, man.
There's a metal band in town called Capybara.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
So that's cool. So you guys are looking to increase the interactions as much as possible.
Yeah, and so like you guys talked about conservation, right? So there's preservation through the breeding programs, but our conservation, we found, through doing all the interactions, we use like what we call conservation funnel. So, at the top of it is just introducing people to animals, bringing awareness about animals. And then as you move down the funnel, the goal is to ultimately get them to take action in some way, right? And maybe that's just supporting your local wildlife facility, but ultimately you hope that they're maybe going to give to an in situ program, like a program in the wild, or maybe they download a browser on their phone that helps plant trees or does something for the environment, right? Like you want them to take action of some sort, getting rid of all the palm oil and the products that are in their pantry, that kind of stuff. So, and we found that by engaging people, interacting them, connecting them to the animals, we have a better success rate at moving them down that funnel. So while some zoos, they may get hundreds of thousands or millions of people into the funnel, just a very, very small fraction of them ever move down to take action or do something.
And you're able to up the percentage by interacting.
Yeah, so through the new model, we'll have fewer people come into the funnel because it'll be a little more expensive or whatever. But we'll be able to provide such an awesome experience that we have a much better chance at moving them to action to help, actually do conservation, right? Not just consume and learn, but to also take action and produce.
Well, I think the wow moments that you're talking about help with that a bunch.
Yeah.
When you touch somebody like that, that you really move them to care about stuff a little more than they were really aware of before. So that's a pretty cool thing that you guys offer here.
Yeah, 100%, and that's the whole key for us. So we've seen the impact it's had. I mean, over the last several years, especially, and so we're just, like I said, we're doubling down on that. We want to really lean into that and make sure that we can kind of touch the hearts and minds of more people in a more personal way instead of just volume. We want to kind of go for more quality versus quantity, and so that's what we're doing.
Are you guys doing social media like Moodang?
Yes.
I was told you guys have like 3.
We've not been
here.
quite as successful as Moodang.
Wow.
I say that we've had some stuff go pretty viral. I mean, with millions and millions of views on TikTok. But yeah, we've had 3 baby pygmy hippos born here.
That's awesome.
And they've done okay, but not quite Moodang.
Well, he was telling me, did they stay small like that?
The pygmy hippos.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna get like 400 pounds still. They're just not going to get.
It's like the small.
It's not going to be like a.
It's not going to be a full blown hippo.
Yeah, they're like a tenth the size of a regular hippo, right?
Okay,
so,
okay.
but they're. I mean, you're not going to just go up there and grab one. For one, they're way too slimy. But two,
they look slimy.
Yeah, they
look slimy.
They secrete a sunscreen.
Horrible.
So they'll burn. So they secrete a sunscreen. So if
Is
you
that-
ever touch one, it's just like.
The hippos do that too, as well.
Yeah.
Big hippos.
I believe so. I don't know 100%, but I think so.
But the pygmy hippos.
But the pygmy hippos do for sure. I know that much.
Yeah, because they look slimy.
Yeah,
They look.
horrible.
They almost look fake. Like on like on some of the pictures, they look fake.
Like they just printed it out of plastic.
So do you guys have to deal with lots of like state and federal restrictions of like how does that work when you have do they come in and like do you have to adhere to breeding rules and all this? I mean, that's got to be there's got to be a laundry list of shit to juggle. When it comes
There
to that.
is. Like I mean, as with most good things, right? The government's going to oversee and regulate them. So not so much the breeding specifically, a little bit, but mostly just animal welfare.
Just like having a zoo in general.
Yeah. So if you want to, what's interesting is like not now. So with the Big Cat Safety Act that passed federally, you can't actually have a tiger anymore. And in the state of Kansas, you couldn't already. But there are a lot of animals that you can have as long as you don't buy or sell it. Like it's technically legal for you to have it. So if someone is just willing to donate you probably some crazy animal that you would never think of, like you can technically have that. Now, if you want to buy or sell it, or if you want to display it, then you have to have licenses for that. So
Or live in Missouri, apparently.
or maybe live in Missouri,
Well,
Texas.
And is it different per animal? So you have to like
Somewhat.
legitimately go through like logistics for every single species that you have?
There are some species that have more specific requirements. Like if you get into like marine mammals, for instance, like dolphins and whatnot, like that's a whole nother
Sect of
it's like a whole nother
Birds
set
of
of
prey
law.
would
It's
be a
like
different
super
thing.
regulated. But then birds actually weren't regulated till recently.
Like the
Reptile
raptors and stuff?
correct.
Wow.
But they are now. And now anything again. So you have exotic species. That's
Right.
like one set of rules. Marine mammals, another set of rules. Native species, from the United States or whatever, whole nother set of rules.
Is there a
Like,
certain thing that makes them exotic species? What is
they don't come natively from the United States.
Is that the definition basically?
I'm sure it's a little more formal
Well,
than that.
but that's the dumb guy definition for
There's
us.
more
Yeah.
legalese.
Yeah, but that makes sense. I wanted to know like what it exactly means if they're just not native to here. That
If this is not a native range for that species, so then they're not protected under that. They're protected under different set of rules. But so it's highly regulated, and then you have state rules on top of that, and then you have potentially local and local rules on top of that. So it's quite the
juggling act.
Yes,
I'm sure.
lots of rules. But we so USDA has like the kind of minimum level of standards that you have to provide, and then we there's other accrediting bodies that say, okay, well here's the minimum, but here's a higher set of standards that we think that zoos should meet. And so we actually are accredited by what is called ZAA, or Zoological Association of America. And so we're accredited by them, saying we meet a much higher standard. And then we're also the only zoo in Kansas that is has humane certified. American Humane, which is the oldest humane association in the United States, they have a program that certifies zoos for humane treatment of the animals. And so we have that certification as well.
Good. I'm glad to see you guys going
cool.
stepping above and beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's gotta get to you, even having to feel for all these animals. Having, what'd you say, some 400 some odd animals in your care at one time usually.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility, right? And it doesn't matter what the weather is. It doesn't matter what if there's a pandemic or whatever. The animals could care less, right? Like they still want to be they have to be cared for. They have to be picked up after and fed and all that stuff. So
they don't get a day off on that.
Yeah.
So where does all the poop go?
So you brought a truck, right?
Yeah.
So you take a little bit of this with you.
It's a thank you gift. Yep, they're loading it up as we speak. So, no, we actually haul most of it off. Like we do compost some of it, but we haul most of it off. My plan in the next iteration of what I want to do, we're actually going to build an anaerobic digester. So, you actually take all that and then you kind of heat it up so it composts faster, and you capture the methane to feed a generator.
I actually worked for sewer maintenance.
Okay, so for
City of Wichita for a while.
So we're going to try and do a dry digester. There's some other zoos that have done it, but I'm trying to do a pretty large scale one. So
you'd have to. I mean, as many animals as you have. So
yeah, so I'm excited for that. I think my dream is to completely supply our own energy.
There's a lot of power there
between that and solar. So I think it'll be pretty cool.
Wow.
That'd be really cool to be self-sustaining. That'd give you another cool thing to put.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? We're having a podcast about the park today. We got a few people feeding giraffes in the background, so we just thought we'd say hi real quick.
So it sounds like you have a lot of really cool plans for the future. Now, how can people donate? How can people help you guys realize those plans?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say the biggest thing is just come out to the park, right? Like come out and experience the animals for yourself, get connected. We do. I mean, there are ways, like if they wanted to give on a big level, right? Like we do have a nonprofit foundation with a board and everything that is helping us with raising those funds and that kind of stuff. And we can certainly, if there's a little chat icon on our website, if they click that and they're like, hey, I want to help out, I want to give whatever, they can always message on there and we'll get them to the right spot. But
do you guys have a big party? You guys need to have a the Zoobilee thing.
We actually do. It's called the Twilight Tour. It's in June.
Cool.
I think it's like June 14th or something next year.
Awesome.
And it's similar to Zoobilee in that we do have like alcohol and food around the park. However, it's not near, like there's not as many people, right? So, and what we do is we open up some behind the scenes areas. It's like the park on steroids. Like our whole staff is on hands. We're doing unique, one-of-a-kind experiences, and we only do that night. So you can do an otter handhold, like you can do a lot of really cool stuff, and so you just come. It's an amazing evening in the park. It's by far the best time to come to the park. But
awesome.
So what are the hours like? Is there times that the park's closed during? You guys go off beat?
We were here like 11. The parking lot was full.
Oh yeah, it was a great busy day today. It's obviously a beautiful day out here.
Yeah, so we're in our shoulder season right now. I believe the hours are 10 to 4, and then we'll close the second weekend of November. So about a month out from now, we'll close down, and then open up spring break whenever spring break is for most of the schools in the area. That's when we'll open up. So,
nice.
And of course we'll open up in that new model. So we'll see what happens.
Do you guys ever have like school school field trips out here and stuff like that?
We do have some. I think we've had some today, some smaller groups, but we do some of that. We'll continue to do a little bit of that going forward with the new model, and the unlimited food and all the things. It's going to be a little bit harder to facilitate that, but
There's a huge event center for like weddings and stuff, I assume.
yeah. So we have 3 different rooms, plus an area by the splash park that we call the courtyard that we can host events, and so
Very cool.
we do quite a few corporate events. We even do some buyouts, like you can buy the whole park out. We have like Credit Union of America's done that a few times.
Oh,
and,
awesome.
With
some
the
other-
exclusive stuff you got, that's a pretty cool option for you guys here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have a lot to offer besides just a little bit of buyout. You can like see some stuff that's not normally on the exhibit on the park and see some extra stuff. I mean, it's kind of, you guys got a cool little thing going. I like it.
Yeah, and for the corporate stuff especially, it's it's unique, it's different. So like maybe you've done the hotel thing a bunch of times, or you've done whatever, maybe even the zoo a bunch of times, and it's just it's a different experience when you
Or
come.
maybe
out to
you've
the park.
even, I mean, came out here a couple times, but you ain't seen the lions that they got that they might show you if you
Right,
come
right.
out on a corporate event.
That's right. That's right.
So that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
They kind of seem like, I mean, it seems like you guys, like you said, are moving on to these interactive models, and there could be a new interactive model at any time where you could come out here and get lucky and see something a little different anytime.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the goal, right? Like we kind of call it like the McRib, right? Like it comes on and off the menu, and so if there's something you really want.
What's been the most popular? What's been something that really is the public's really drawn to? Do you know?
I was trying to think of something that we've like put on the menu and taken back off. Can you think of?
Come on in here real quick, Lindley.
Yeah,
You
so-
got to come in here and say hi. You right behind him, or this is our contact here, Lindley. She set everything up today. She's been nothing but helpful. We appreciate you.
I'm just here to monitor and make sure you behave.
Yeah, trying to
Yeah.
keep
Said,
make sure.
I think the hours
She's-
are.
She's fact checking me
Yeah.
this whole time. She's like, this guy doesn't know anything.
We had
He just wears the hat. The
hat really, I mean,
That's-
I buy, it makes me buy it.
yeah, that's like you can believe anything I say. I just wear this hat, and then they have to go behind
we
me.
knew
and fix it all.
immediately you were official.
Yeah.
You know?
So they're like, all right, now we have to change the hours. All right, now we have to do this. Matt said this. So, but yeah, no, so we had a penguin chick feeding. Like when the penguins, they gain like, I think it's like 10% of their body weight a day. So they grow incredibly fast.
Oh, say that one more time. 10% of their
crazy.
body weight a day.
Yeah. A
Oh
day.
man, so they go
So
from
in
little
10
guys.
days, they double
go
in
from little
size.
guys to pretty.
Yeah, within
damn-
a month, like they start like this big, and then within a month they're about that tall.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's
Crazy.
pretty nuts. So we don't get to offer the experience for very long because they're
Oh,
not
makes
chicks for
sense,
very
yeah.
long, and that was incredibly. So when we have that, that's incredibly popular, and we don't have it again all the time. When the pygmy hippos, like when they're first kind of young, like Lotke, the little one we have now, we do a hippo kiss, painting session, and again that's kind of a short-term thing. So some of those things have been pretty popular, but overall our most popular are like penguin swims, penguin meet and greets, otter meet and greets, sloth behind the scenes. Those are kind of our staples, and so you can find those. I mean, they sell out because we have limited availability. So that would be the one key thing. But they're always available. It's just that they sell
So
out.
if someone's super into those things and are looking to, how can they keep track? And is it just call up here and ask, or is there a way to follow it?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean they can go online. You mean as far as what we're gonna
yeah, like if they're, I mean, if someone's really waiting for
something?
that to come back around, or how can they keep track of that?
Sometimes we have some wait lists for different things, and if they've expressed interest about like penguin chick feeding before, then we might have them on a list so that when we have it again, we'll let them
Give
know.
them a shout.
But I would say following us on Facebook or even like our newsletter, like we're pretty good at putting a lot of that stuff out there on those. So if you're a season pass holder, we had a season pass holder group where we keep them pretty informed as well. So.
Way cool.
But that's definitely one of the best ways to do it.
And so, what goes into a season pass? So does that mean we pay a certain amount, we get in unlimited for the year?
Oh,
Yeah.
man. And back in the day, it was cheap. It was like
It's $25.
yeah, $25
Yeah.
for a season pass. Like
So that won't be available next year.
No.
But so next year we'll have two options. We'll have our basic season pass, if you will, the normal season pass it'll be $150 a person, but it's unlimited visits. That will include unlimited grab and go snacks. So like popcorn, cookies, pretzels, whatever our grab and go snacks
way
are going to be.
cool.
You'll get unlimited those throughout the season. You'll get unlimited beverages, not alcohol, but just like
fountain drinks and stuff.
yeah, fountain drinks, and then unlimited feedings at all the stations.
Oh
That's
And
awesome.
so, so it's pretty good deal. And
For
then
150, that's great.
yeah, and then our premium pass, which is a crazy good deal, is unlimited entrees. So all the food we offer unlimited. So you can come have breakfast every morning if you want, have lunch every afternoon.
Wow.
You'll also get unlimited feedings, unlimited beverages, and then the other thing that's really great is it's a 2-for pass. So actually, you get bring a guest, an unnamed guest, with you every time you come, and they get all the same benefits.
So you get a plus one.
Oh, it's huge.
You get a +1.
Nice.
So-
What's that bad boy cost? Hit
so-
me with it.
Yeah, so 150 and then 350 for the
350.
Yeah, so
But the food alone, jeez. I mean,
Yeah, really.
in the unlimited feedings. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
two things you want to do here: is come out here and feed yourself and feed the animals,
yeah, so I mean it's
And
a-
bring a date.
and bring it
and
there
bring
you
a
go.
date,
Yeah.
and bring your kids or bring your mom.
Yeah,
or bring
whoever's in town, right? So
I mean, it's a real place that, especially if you entertain a lot.
Yeah.
Like you had people come in town, you got a pretty badass
and so
spot.
the other, I mean, so we're limiting the number of both of those passes. So again, the park, if you get one of those season passes, and then you'll get first right of refusal on it, right? Like, I mean, it's gonna feel like you own the park. Like it's gonna feel like it's yours, which is gonna be pretty amazing. So
Who does the food
awesome.
for you guys?
we do it all in house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you guys got your own kitchen and your own
Mhm.
cooks and own staff.
So, we're hoping to step it up a little bit next year. We're going to kind of feel it out as we get into the first year. We're not going to have drastic changes to the menu, but we are adding salads. We're going to add a few different.
So is it order by menu or is it kind of buffet style?
No, it's going to be you'll order it probably on your phone.
On
Or
an app or
off
And
your,
then-
or
and
off
then
your
the-
menu?
Yeah, and
Makes
then
sense.
they'll just throw it out there.
And you can just sit there and order all you want if you're the premium menu. You
Yep.
can just sit there and
Penguins
Co-
on roller skates.
come in on-
Yeah.
Bring it out.
Yeah.
come in on Penguin Day. You
Yeah.
guys aren't serving penguins, are you?
No, not penguins. We were just at a conference in Columbus, and one of the restaurants we went to had kangaroo.
Did
Really?
you try it? Did you have to try it?
I didn't try it this time. I had it when I was in Australia, and
I feel like it'd be
tastes,
tough.
It just tastes like hamburger. It didn't really taste all
Nothing
that
crazy?
different. No, nothing crazy.
Yeah. Most stuff you try, it's just, there ain't nothing really to it. Most time it's just either gamey or tough or
Tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
tastes like chicken. So what is your? I got to get a couple of these goofy questions in. What's one of your favorite animals out here that you like to mess around with? What is one
Mess
of the,
around with.
like? What's one of the ones that's like
Well,
you're glad to have here at your zoo? Like
Yeah.
one that like that was something you really wanted to have here, and you're glad that you're
So
proud to have it.
I
You
love
know what
our
I mean?
lions, and it makes me sad they're not on exhibit. But our male lion Nemian, if I had to pick an animal, he's probably my favorite. He's a beast. He's big. He's got this gorgeous, like, massive mane, and so he's just phenomenal. And I grew up a Goddard lion, right? I went to Goddard
there you go.
schools, and that was the only big cat we didn't have. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like. So, but yeah. So we finally got lions, and we got they're pretty awesome. And
So do you have a future plan for those guys?
yeah. So out in the safari park area, we're gonna build them a nice new exhibit that you'll kind of overlook into the safari park. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Awesome. So do you have a female lion too as well? Or
Yes, we have 2 females, and they actually both had a set of litter.
Those guys got to be cool as heck.
Yeah, and man, they're
Little ones.
big. They're already so big.
They
Like,
got to
it's
have a
crazy.
big old feet on them, probably.
They do. They're massive. The lions are massive.
So that'd be cool to have, like, hang around with a lion cub for a minute.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's gonna be a badass.
So yeah, is there any like cool relationship that you have with an animal that like lets you, like some cat that comes and lets you just
not
love all
not
over it?
currently. I mean, I have had that in the past. Like we had a honey badger named Diablo.
Those guys are trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. We hand.
Not the animal I would have thought would be cuddly and warm. You know?
That's why we named him Diablo, man. He was trouble. So we hand raised him. He was the first honey badger we successfully hand raised, and actually took
What do you
him.
mean by hand raised? By feeding?
Yeah,
to?
so mom would have 2 a lot of times, and she would like
pick her favorite.
kill one,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and so, but then so she'd kill one, and then the other one, like she was just not raising. Like she would kill it and eat it at some point, like. And so we were trying out different ways to see, like, okay, if we take it too soon, it doesn't get the nutrients that mom gives. So, and there's like 0 literature on hand raising honey badgers because it hasn't hardly been done.
and nobody wants to mess with them damn things.
Yeah, so it was a guessing game for us. So we were finally successful in hand raising one, and because of that, we did a lot of work with Jack Hanna back in the day, and so I actually got to take him. I took him to California, and we did a show out there. We did the talk, I think, and then I went to New York and I did David Letterman with him, and like Anderson Cooper 360, and
Oh wow.
Good Morning America, and so like I got to take. So I spent a lot of time with him when he was young, and that was pretty cool. He's now at another facility trying to hopefully breed, but so I spent a lot of time with him. Chewy, our sloth, like I've spent a decent amount of time with him. I think we're pals. He's definitely more pals with some of his keepers and whatnot, but I enjoy him a lot.
So you mentioned your keepers a little bit. How many keepers and staff does it take to run a place like this?
So we have 60 full-time year-round, and then we peak out at about 140-ish with seasonal employees,
Oh, wow.
like when we're open. So it's grown. In 2005 we had like 5 people.
Jeez. Do you try to set like keepers with animals so that the animals get used to them and they all try to?
So they mostly have routines. I mean, that isn't necessarily the goal, but that does happen. And obviously, there's good and bad with that. One, you are more familiar with that animal, so you can see if body condition or something's not right with that animal. The downside is you can get kind of complacent and you get used to it. So
that makes sense.
It's like if you have a nephew or something, and if you've seen him all the time.
You don't notice.
They don't notice it, but then all of a sudden you haven't seen them in 6 months and they've grown a ton, right? So
you lose a little fear too. You lose a little bit of that fear. You gotta be.
So it's
be wary.
there's some good and bad, but that's why obviously people have days off and different people are on routines, and so you still get a little bit of that variance. So
awesome. Well, as we're rolling up on almost an hour, is there anything you want to get out there to the people? Any last comments or special events or any
famous last words?
Famous last words.
Yeah.
So no, I mean I hope they'll just come out to the park this season. Finish out. It's beautiful weather. It's a great time of year. So we're looking to end the season strong, and then just really excited for next year. So I think it's going to be a tremendous thing for the community. We'll have Sedgwick County there, plus and then us providing a little different experience, and it's going to be very similar to like San Diego Zoo and the Wild Animal Park, or
Awesome.
SeaWorld and Discovery Cove in Orlando, right? I think it's going to be a tremendous opportunity for locals, but also continue to help pull people into our economy and just show them how awesome Wichita is. So I'm excited.
We had a question from online. What went about in the naming of the park in Tanganyika Wildlife Park?
Yeah, that's kind of a fun story. So my dad, when he was doing importing, he spent a lot of time in Africa, and the area of Africa he spent was formerly known as the Tanganyika territory, and today it's known as Tanzania. So it it was a German territory merged with a Zanzibar on the coast to make modern-day Tanzania. So he spent a lot of time there. He named his company the Tanganyika Wildlife Company, and that's kind of what he did. What's cool about it, though, was, like I said, his dream was to build a world-class breeding facility. And so we started doing private tours in our backyard around 2000, and someone from Africa came and told us what the meaning of the name was. It's actually a Bantu, it comes from the Bantu tribe, and it means the origin of life or the beginning of life.
Oh, wow.
And so, for him to pick a name that meant the beginning of life when his dream was to build a world-class breeding facility was kind of awesome. So
kind of perfect.
Comes full circle. I mean,
Yeah.
just when you hear it that way, you're like, oh, that makes a bunch of sense.
yeah, so and I mean he didn't do it purposely, it just was I guess it was a God thing, and so that was pretty awesome. And so even though a lot of people have a hard time saying it, let alone spell it or anything, we've definitely kept it because I think it also speaks to just our uniqueness, and that we're not just another city zoo, county zoo, pick the name. We're Tanganyika Wildlife Park. So
Yeah, you guys are definitely
Awesome.
a different experience for sure. And I know they got dinosaurs back there. they found some embryos, didn't you, Matt?
shh, I told you not to mention that on air.
With a hat like that, there's a couple raptors or something back there. I guarantee it.
Allegedly.
Well, we'd like to thank you guys for letting us come out here and invade today and get a podcast in, man. We really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun.
Special thanks to Logo Depot for paying the bills.
Yeah, and special thanks to Tanganyika Wildlife Park.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to check some stuff out. Huh?
Yeah, let's go walk around a